Hi guys, I'm freezing. Oh, I don't know why, but all of a sudden I just got a crazy chill. So I'm all bundled up in my woolies and scarfies. But I really like that cuddling feeling when you have a nice huggy scarf on. That's always nice. But yeah, I'm trying to warm up. And our house is like, you know, a normal temperature. It's just my body. So I have to start doing some jumping jacks or something. In the meantime, I've got my scarf on. Anyways, so I wanted to continue 31 Days of Tarot. Today I'm going to start with number 15, day 15. And the question is your view on the tarot court. Is the tarot outdated, not needed, etc.? Okay, so for me, I definitely... You know, I've got different views, I guess. I think the Rider-Waite, I think it depends on what deck you have. So like the Rider-Waite, we hardly have any women. We only have the queens, and that kind of bothers me a lot. Like the pages, they're all dressed as boys. And I find it doesn't bother me a lot, but I find that it's a bit of an unbalanced deck because you're not balancing that male and female energy very well. So, you know, in terms of the Rider-Waite deck, I think it's very unbalanced. And I think it could use tweaking that way. Like, I guess it was just the time frame where women weren't as... important in the males, the men's world, I guess. They weren't as important, so we have more men, perhaps. Or maybe it's because they're using, you know, the head figures of court, you know, king, queen, page, and knight, and pages were always men. So, but it leaves your male-female energies unbalanced. So, in terms of the Rider-Waite system, yes, I think it is out of date. However, you know, newer decks these days, they've really made the decks more modern. For instance, we have the Wild Unknown, which is a great deck. I recommend it to anyone who loves tarot. We have the Mothers. Mother and their suit, you know, and that's what we see. We don't see so much the court. It's more, you know, family, the family unit. So we have mother, fathers. I'm pretty sure it's fathers of pentacles. Yeah, so fathers. We have daughters, and then we have sons. Here's a son. So I think, you know, in terms of modern decks, we have much more modern court that reflect more about who, you know, the energies that we hold now. And I like with this, in terms of the court, you know, they're reflecting those archetypes of people. But it's really nice to see the animals specifically in this deck as well, because that is also an archetype of a certain type of person. So it really gives you extra food for thought, basically, in terms of looking into that person and trying to understand who they are. If you're looking at it in terms of people. You can also just look at it in terms of energies, which you also get a strong feeling from too. That's that one. That's, you know, the Wild Unknown. I was looking at my Star Child as well. And here we actually, and it's more of a modern deck, we have kings. So we still have those the court. So we have kings, we have queens, but we also have pages, but the pages are women. So, you know, this is balanced and still sticking with the theme of the Rider-Waite, but our pages are women instead of being men. So that's really nice. And we still have the knights being men. So I think, you know, in terms of modern decks, they're really paying justice and bringing that balance that's needed to the tarot. So your view on the tarot court, is the tarot outdated, not needed? I definitely think the court cards are needed. Because there are people. Sometimes you have a situation that maybe has to do with a few different people coming in, or yeah, like I think definitely having the court is really necessary because it really brings in a lot of insight to the readings. It helps the reader to identify more about the situation, the details of the situation, I find. So that is that. Okay, so we have day 16, your current tarot crush. Favorite deck. They said pick a few if you want. So for me, tarot crush. I think right now my biggest tarot crush is the Star Child Tarot Akashic edition. I just absolutely love the color palette of this deck. I really vibe with the energy of this deck. It is really high vibe, like, but it's also the setting and the color palette is really me. Really, really, really me. It feels out of this world, which I also really resonate with, and you know, honestly have a hard time with sometimes because. And I definitely heard it, Laura Eisenhower talking the other day too. You know, she's a really amazing person if you haven't, you know, heard her talk. But she was kind of having a bit of a breakdown and whatnot. It's because, you know, this work and when you feel, and you're doing like what you do, you know, kind of standing in your truth and what you believe, and you see all this injustice in the world going on, it really gives you a sense of loneliness because there's so many people that are just so blind to all the crap that's happening, or they play ignorant to it. And when it's really the opposite of what we want to do, we want to bring more insight to this. We want to bring you know, people together basically in these common areas to make change, to make really positive change, and you know, and change the world in terms of the way we view it as well. And so for me, when I see this deck, it feels like home. It feels I feel like that energy is there, like it's a common knowing. There's like an essence of other worlds, but also feeling and sensing that energy all around you. And that just really, really resonates to me because it's something that I feel and sense, and I'm constantly checking in with throughout the day. Not just like once a day, oh, how do I feel? Like throughout the day, I'm feeling the flow of my energy body. It's really expanded over time. Like it wasn't like that all the time, but it really has expanded in the past like couple months of how sensitive I'm feeling energy now. And how sensitive the fluidity and how much others can affect the fluidity, and it's almost like if you imagine energy is like water, if someone's really disturbing that water, it affects everything around it, and it's something I've really been feeling in my body and my senses. And so when I see this deck and I hold it and I'm reading with it, it really gives me a sense of peace, home, and kind of almost like a cosmic understanding of self, that, you know, a reminder that I'm not alone, and that it feels like a real place. Like this feels like a real place to me. Yeah. And I've even seen, you know, images of fairy folk in auras like this, like with that pinky, greeny, purples kind of going around. That's how I see the fairy realm, and often they do have unicorns. Now I know there is like some kind of horse or unicorn in this deck, so when I saw it I was like, oh my gosh, I've been there, I've seen that. That is very real. I think that's an actual place, like it, you know, and it just struck home. It felt yeah, like home, so then it makes you miss it, but yeah. And then my allergies act up because I'm rejecting this earth. Anyways, I went on a big old tangent there, but anyway, so yeah, that's my current tarot crush right now. It's kind of my only one, you know. The Tarot Mooch I got there just recent, but it doesn't really feel like a tarot crush. It just feels like a really good, strong tarot deck that it's just like, yep, you're very functional. Yep, I can use you, you know, in pretty much any reading, whether it's a new person I'm reading for or old, you know, or like a reoccurring client. It doesn't really. It's just a good deck, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, you know, this is my oh my gosh deck. So, okay, looks like I have enough time. It says, your tarot, this is day 17, your tarot journal, show us a few pages. I don't do a lot of journaling, honestly. I used to. I did a lot more. When I was doing those, it was the Wild Unknown, looking at like the different cards. I never finished that, and I still want to do it, but I kind of had moved away from the Wild Unknown for a bit, just because, I don't know, I'd worked with it for so long I needed a break, basically. So that's why I kind of made a break on the videos there. I might pick it up again, but I'm not even sure if it's really needed. There's so much out there on each card. But, so my tarot journal is very skimpy and small. I had shown it before, I think, previous, but it's like kind of homemade. I tea stained paper and stitched them together, and I was gonna, you know, work on this a lot. Obviously the intention was gonna be quite large and in charge. I was gonna do a few of these different panels and make one homemade book. But honestly, it's more just a little booklet now because I just don't do a lot of journaling. But I'll show you a few pages. That's my opening page. So this is like a double page because I just wanted to make it that way. And we have the court cards. So, yeah, and I like to date. So I haven't done this since a year ago, May 1st, 2015. And I was looking at the Wild Unknown deck, so I put it in brackets there. And I put innocence, grounded, and attached to the earth, peaceful. Now this would be for the page of earth. Or for this particular deck, that would be pentacles. So that's kind of how I do. Here's the second page. So yeah, I'm just kind of, it's almost like a log. And I write the date. And it's nice just to kind of go back and take a look and see, you know, what all was said there. At the very back, well, not the very back, but the last few pages, see, I got through the court, ends with the kings. Just after that, I have my major arcana, so some notes on the major arcana. And this was for the Wild Unknown, when I was doing that log or vlog online, so that's as far as I got in that. I'm always a back to front. Sorry. So yeah, because pretty much I do that in everything in my life. I do everything backwards. So I started with the last card and I'm working back. So the next one I do would be the Tower. But so yeah. I was looking at numerology here too. If I were to add those numbers together, the number of the court, what is that? What number do we get for that court cards? Or sorry, for the major arcana. So that was kind of neat too, and just giving a different insight on the area. That extra card. So that is my little journal. Yeah, like I said, a little pamphlet. Oh, that's the very back of the pamphlet. I got the world on there. Yeah, I like it though, and it's functional for what I need. It's nothing crazy fancy, but I like the rustic tea-stained paper feel. It gives like that old feeling, which is cool. That's my vibe. I like that. Anyways, yeah, that's it. You guys have a wonderful day, and until the next video, you guys keep it real. See you later. Bye-bye.